Looks like everything is going well. I need to plug up the phone. There we go. Hopefully that'll keep us a good charge going while we are talking. And we'll just wait. I did not tell a single person that I was doing a stream, so we're just going to see if anyone comes in tonight. I'm just curious. I genuinely am curious if me posting about streams leads to more people coming in or not. Because it seems like most people are caught by surprise anyway. Oh, looks like we got a couple of people coming in. I can see at least one person there. Hey, Mythical Mythic, how's it going? Hey, Duck Boy. Oop, Tended Winner, hello, hello. Ooh, Gotta Hurt the Albertosaurus, hello, hello. Random Onomatopoeia. It's been a while with Random Onomatopoeia. I've not seen you for a bit. Alright, we got some people coming in. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, we're unboxing more Jada Street Fighter. I now officially have every character that they've released so far. Obviously, Zangief has not even been shown yet. T-Hawk isn't coming out for a few more weeks. Oop. Thank you, Mythical Mythic. Oh, thanks. I just adore this line. I just adore this line. Oh, Tended Winner. You fell asleep last time. Well, I hope you at least, set an alarm for yourself. I hope you didn't, get messed up. I know there have been times where, I've fallen asleep watching a movie, and then I almost missed work the next day, because I didn't set my normal alarm for myself. Road Warrior, I have the Chun-Li. She's really cool. I very much agree. The Chun-Li is great. It's funny. This time last week, I had Ken and Chun-Li, Sagat, Balrog, and Vega. That was the first stream we did. And when I did that stream, I was like, these guys are really good. I don't know if I need any more. And then I came back the next day, or the next time we did the stream, which was 2 or 3 days later, and I had M. Bison, Cammy, Blanca, E. Honda, Akuma, Ryu. I had all these other guys and got them. And when I did that stream, I said, oh yeah, but this is probably it. I'm not going to get Guile. I'm not going to get Fei Long. Well, look who I have now. I have Guile. I have Fei Long. I have DJ. I have Dalsum. I'm going complete on this line. Well, hey, don't ask. How's it going? And hey, WJ. I really do love what Jada has done here. I think they've made the best toy line I've seen in years. So good that even toys I didn't want necessarily, because I've never cared about Fei Long, and I've never cared about DJ, and I've never cared about Dalsum, and I actively dislike Guile, and yet here I am. Oh, Mattress King. Oh, hey, Delinquent, how's it going? Mattress King, I have seen the new Sentinel Prime. I talked about it in the news video, but of course, when I talked about it in the news video, I had literally just seen it, so I really didn't have any thoughts yet. I was just saying, hey, so that I can include this. Now that I've had time to think about it, I think the Sentinel Prime looks cool. I like the Sentinel Prime. I don't like the price tag. I think it is $40 too expensive. The dinner plate I don't like. I thought that it was going to come with new versions of all the Prime's weapons. It's not. It's literally just the plate. And before, I thought, oh, well, this would be good because it's like an accessory pack. It's not an accessory pack. They just showed you what you can do with the thing. But I'm not big on that Sentinel, admittedly. I think the Sentinel itself is cool. The pack is really rough, especially for the price they were asking. There is no way! Tended Winner, Sagat was voiced by Peter Spellos? I never caught that! Peter Spellos voiced my favorite Street Fighter character? Oh, that's so cool. I really need to find Street Fighter 2 somewhere, because I really want to watch that animated movie again. But I don't know where to watch it. Also, someone totally called me out, because all last stream I kept saying, I'm not going to get Guile. I'm not going to get Fei Long. I said that multiple times. I'm not lying about that. I'm not going to try to cover that up. I realized this line is so good, I needed to get the others. even characters I don't like or dislike, I wanted to get because Jada has made such an amazing product that these toys are going to be amazing. And they're going to fill out this shelf, and I'm going to feel awesome having them. This is the mark of a great toy line. Is even the characters you don't like, you want to experience their toys. I haven't felt that way about a toy line since animated, I guess. Yeah. Because every other toy line, if there's a character I don't like, I'm fine not getting their toy. But, like, this is the first time since childhood where I love a toy line so much, it doesn't matter if I'm not big on the character, I want the toy. Because the toy is going to be good. And the collection is going to be awesome. Um, I did so much talk in that last stream about how much I love what Jada's doing. And you know what this is? This is me putting my money where my mouth is. I have constantly said that I think this is the best toy line. Well, how can you look at me and know that I think it's the best toy line? I bought all of them. I bought every character they've done. And I might get variants of a few of them. Like, there's a couple of them who I wouldn't mind getting the alternate costume. And I'm going to do their alpha line. Because that's something I just found out too. Jada has already shown off that they're doing Street Fighter Alpha. And the characters they showed off is they're doing Ryu, they're doing Chun-Li, and they're doing Nash. I will go all in on that alpha line. Because, God, I hope they do Dan. I hope they do Sakura. I hope they do Sodom. I'll buy them. Because Jada has endeared and engendered that type of goodwill with me. So I don't know who we're going to open first. We're going to open Dalsum last, because I think Dalsum's going to be the most interesting, I think. Tinted Winter Rose would be good. That'd be nice. Hey, Brutaku, how's it going? Eagle, that would be fun. I think we're going to open Fei Long first, just because Fei Long is the one that I've been clowning on the most. Like I've always maintained, Fei Long is no one's favorite. Nobody's been demanding a Fei Long, but guess what? I went out and I found Fei Long for the sake of completing this line. And before anyone asks why I don't like Fei Long, I just think he's a bit generic. He is very much modeled off of Bruce Lee and a little bit of Jackie Chan. And he's supposed to be a martial artist that's on the constant quest to get better, but the problem is, that's Ryu. Oh, hey, Rocky Show. Yeah, Guile is my least favorite. I really don't like Guile, just because I think he's really obnoxious and I don't like his design, and I don't like his playstyle. But guess what? I bought Guile, because by God, I'm completing this toy line. But yeah, that's my issue with Fei Long. Like, Fei Long, they turned him into a movie star in the Udon comics, and I'm pretty sure that's the story also in Street Fighter 4. But I think originally Fei Long was literally just, he is a martial artist, and he has occasionally been in movies because he's so good at martial arts. But there's no mistaking who he's supposed to be. He's Bruce Lee. And unfortunately, in the 80s and 90s, there were a whole lot of Bruce Lee ripoffs, and I think Fei Long is one of the most boring out of them all. And my big problem with Fei Long really is everything about his character you already have with Ryu and Ken. Ken is the arrogant one. He's the one who could be in movies. Ryu's on the one who's on the quest to continuously get better. Like, Fei Long feels very redundant. Which is probably why he has not been in a lot of stuff. Hey, Mom Makes, I have the full line so far. I got Dalsum, got Fei Long, got DJ, got Guile. I have the full line that they've done so far. And I'm going to get Zangief and I'm going to get T-Hawk. And those are going to be live streams. The day I get T-Hawk, that'll be a live stream. The day I get Zangief, that'll be a live stream. That's what Jada Street Fighter is going to wind up being. That is the impetus to do... What was I going to say? That's going to be the impetus to do live streams. I just saw the Brutaku thing. Yeah, you're right. Fei Long isn't in the movie, but T-Hawk is. And I think I told this story last time about T-Hawk. It's really funny. Oh, you're talking about the animated movie. Yeah. Steve Bloom is T-Hawk, I actually did know. But T-Hawk was also in the live-action movie. And I don't remember the actor's name, but this is such a cool story. T-Hawk was... Uh, oh, Rocky Show, you actually missed a stream. I unboxed him and I talked about how good a figure he is. But T-Hawk was in the live action Street Fighter 2 movie, but all the actors were supposed to stay to be digitized for Street Fighter the movie, the game. But the actor who played T-Hawk asked, "Are we getting paid extra?" "No, you're not getting paid extra. Just come on, do it for us." And instead of doing that and sweating his ass off in a trailer for an extra 2 weeks, he got on a plane and he fucking left. And I've always thought that is so cool. That guy got his money and he left. He's like, "Screw you, that's not my contract." So for that reason, I've always liked T-Hawk. It's nothing about T-Hawk's character. It's just the brass balls on that actor. I kind of respect it. Because he wasn't into video games. That wasn't his career. He was an actor. And by God, he was paid to act in a movie. Oh, Tinted Winter. For all the shit you can ever give the Street Fighter movie, none of that goes to Raul Julia. Every second he was M. Bison, he was given that role his all. And you're totally right, he was in a really bad shape. When he was doing that final battle with Guile, if you've ever been curious why that battle's over so quickly, it's because at that point, Raul Julia had a hard time even standing up. But if anyone doesn't know this, the reason Raul Julia, even when he was so sick, the reason he was still in that movie, his kids loved Street Fighter. And he kind of knew that his time was running out. So as kind of like that one last thing to leave to his kids, he played M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie. And it was like a big thing. The kids were always on set, and yeah. It's insane. It's actually insane to think about what Raul Julia put himself through. But he is the best part of that movie. As many issues as I have with the Street Fighter 2, the movie, from Guile to how they treat Ryu and Ken, Raul Julia as M. Bison was perfect. And that's the most I've ever liked M. Bison. Because M. Bison's usually, like, fine. He's not my favorite character. But in that movie, he is amazing. And it's because Raul Julia is amazing. Of course, whenever I think of Raul Julia, I very rarely think of M. Bison. I always think of him as Gomez Adams. But I think as time goes on, more people are probably going to remember him as M. Bison entirely because of the memes. Which, isn't that weird to think about? That there's some people out there who they're going to be best remembered because of their place in meme history. It's an odd thing to consider, but there are a few people like that. No, you're totally right. There's so many actors who, even if they were in a bad movie, they took it seriously. But you want to know who I think was the king of that? Like, honestly? I think it was Robin Williams. Because it doesn't matter what movie Robin Williams was in, even really crappy movies, Robin Williams always gave 1,000%. I think someone who's like that these days, honestly, is, what's his name? He's the Mandalorian, and he played Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. I'm blanking on his name for some reason. Oh, that's gonna bother me. What is his name? Pedro Pascal, thank you! Yes. I think Pedro Pascal is the modern version of that, entirely because he is always so on the ball and so willing to put effort in. And even if I don't like every movie he's ever been, I don't think he's ever given a bad performance. There's Fei Long. So I did that. You might ask yourself, Ron, why are you shaking your toy like that? Very simple. When I pull out a new toy, I like to do that to figure out if they have any loose joints. And you know, every so often you're going to have a figure with bad shoulders or bad hips. And when I pull out a Hasbro figure or a Mattel figure, or even a McFarlane figure, something goes, you know? The ab crunch goes, the arm goes, the hip goes, and that's not a bad thing, because You can work around a joint that's a little bit too loose, but look at Fei Long here. Nothing. Nothing. His arm went. Now, you absolutely are hearing some rattle. That's from his diaphragm joint going, but look, it keeps going right back to center, even after I get really. It goes right back to center. If I had a Hasbro toy or a McFarlane toy, maybe even a NECA toy, the joints would be all over the place right now, but I'm able to rattle and then go straight down with Fei Long. He's standing still because his joints are so solid. Oop. So, we have a massive thing of fire. We could put Fei Long's leg into this. And then he can have like a flame kick. We could also put his arm into it and he can have a flame punch. He's never done that, but you could do it. His thoughts on Fei Long. Thoughts on Fei Long. He is a really nice feeling figure with a really boring design. Would I rather have his angry face or his... I'm going to give him the more determined face to try to give him just a little bit more personality. Oh, Brutaku, the other person in the box, that's DJ. He is very much like Fei Long. He's famous because he was in the last version of 2. But that's kind of his big claim to fame is he was in 2. So there was the new challengers, Street Fighter 2, the new challengers, and that's what introduced DJ, Cammy, Fei Long, and Guile. Take a guess who's the all-star of that lineup. Yeah, it's Cammy. Who is my favorite Japan-only Transformer? Oh, hey, Spire Dad. That's tough, because I actually like a lot of them. I really like Deathsaurus. I like Star Saber. Atlas is always going to be a favorite just because of the design. I'm going to... Did I say Guile? The new challengers were DJ, T-Hawk, Fei Long, and Cammy. I must have misspoke just because Guile was back there. I'm also going to say my favorite Japanese Transformer. It's between Magmatron, Beast Wars Galvatron, Megastorm, and Lio Convoy. It's between them. Alright, now then. Now that we have Fei Long, we're going to give him a very Bruce Lee-esque pose. Like, if you want to know how much he literally is just Bruce Lee, his special move involves nunchucks. And why are nunchucks so important? It's because Bruce Lee was one of the first actors to really be associated with nunchucks. So for a long time, more so than even Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, if you were busting out nunchucks, you were doing an homage to Bruce Lee. Also, just look at how naturally I'm able to get Fei Long into a nice action pose. I'm not having to, like, fight anything, no limitations. All I have to do is find a balance, and it works. Spider Dad, I think the best way to put it is Dalsum is beloved, and Street Fighter... There's definitely someone out there who would find Dalsum's design offensive, and they have every right. But Dalsum has usually been presented in such a positive light that not a lot of people have discussed it. It's not like, say, Apu from The Simpsons. It's never fallen into like the real common harmful stereotypes from what I understand. Like, I know people who are very socially conscious and try to bring that into video games, but usually Dalsum gets a pass just because of how cartoony he is, plus the fact that he's always been very heroic and sympathetic. But at the same time, there's probably a reason why Dalsum isn't one of the main Street Fighter characters, if you catch what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. That'd be a weird conversation to have. Who's the most offensive Street Fighter character? Because I think, generally speaking, most of the Street Fighter characters, even if they started off as potential stereotypes, they've been given a great deal of respect um, and nuance. Like Sagat. There's a way to look at Sagat as being offensive, but then you get things like Sagat is a friend to all children. Sagat has that sense of honor. Sagat was cheated from his fair victory. Hey, Christopher, how's it going? You're back for more. I'm also back for more. More Street Fighter. Here's Fei Long, a character who I insisted I would never buy because they're boring. And yet here I am. I have bought Fei Long because Jada makes such a good product that I wanted all of them. Yeah. Brutaku, you want to know what's more offensive about Rufus? The fact that that's what we got as opposed to the cool original concept. Like the cool original concept had some problems to it, but I think if you were able to like flesh out that original design, it could have been really cool. Rufus is just kind of dumb. I don't like Rufus. And I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't think a lot of people like Rufus. All right. We're going to do DJ next. So DJ, very similar to Fei Long and Cammy and T-Hawk. Hey Taz, DJ is another one of the new challengers. So he was not part of the base game. He was one of the 4 additional characters. DJ is still pretty well known. He's been in like Street Fighter 4. He was in Street Fighter 5. I think he's in Street Fighter 6. His whole deal is basically I forget what it's called. There's a Brazilian martial art that's dance fighting, but I forget what it's actually called. If you've ever played Pokemon, Hitmontop is inspired by this fighting style, where it is a very much like you see people fight and it looks more like dancing. Yes, thank you. And that is DJ's whole thing. DJ loves music and he fights to the beat of music. It's a pretty cool concept. And also, I think DJ was one of the first Brazilian characters in any video game. I think he was the first one. Doop. I say that because I really don't remember if Blanca is Brazilian or not. I know his plane. Oh, wait, he's Jamaican? Jesus Christ, the flag is right there. Yeah, he's Jamaican. He still has that fighting style. For some reason, I thought DJ was from Brazil. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I actually never noticed that all of the boxes have the flag of where they're from. That's actually a nice touch. As you might be able to tell, I am not an expert on DJ. I know who DJ is, and that's about it. My love of DJ is not as deep as my love of characters like Sagat or Kuma. I can't tell you as much about DJ. Alright, see you, Spider Dad. Thanks for stopping in. Okay. We got DJ out. Alright. Oh my god, he's gonna have a real necklace! That's gonna be like a Kuma's necklace. Oh, dude, that's gonna be cool. Okay, now I'm excited. So we have fire effect. It helps that DJ's one of the bigger toys here. Like in terms of the normal releases. He's very similar to M. Bison. He's going to be one of the larger ones. Doop. Hell yeah. I like the idea that Cammy's into cats. That's cute. Darkstalkers confirmed? Because I'm pretty sure there's a cat in Darkstalkers, right? Felicia? Is that her name? I've never been able to really get into Darkstalkers, I hate to say. Like, it seems cool. I'm just not really into, like, Universal Monsters as a fighting art style, I guess. Oh, dude. Look at this. Tiny necklace. Actual beads that move independently. Beautiful gold color. God. Not made out of plastic. Because if it was a Hasbro toy, this would be a piece of plastic. Or it'd be like a gold string. But no, this is actual metal. Like a little piece of jewelry. That's so beautiful. I'm sorry. Like, I've been into toys for so long that just seeing something like that, that's the mark of quality. That's the mark that someone really cared about what they were doing. And then let's look at DJ. Big figure. Very big figure. Articulation feels great, because of course it does, because Jada. Goddamn Jada. Colors are amazing. Paint looks good throughout. Oh! That is the first paint defect I've seen on any of these toys. And you know what? Don't get me wrong. Paint defect, that's always kind of disappointing. But at the very least, it's on the side and not from the front. And also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had to get 13 figures to find a minor paint defect. I'm still going to say that's fine. Like, I think, again, that speaks to the great quality control. It took 13 toys to find one that has a minor quality control issue. I'm sorry. I am slobbing the knob of this company. I know I am. I'm sorry. I'm not a shill. This is not sponsored. But just the more I find out about Jada, the more I find out about this toy line, the more hopelessly in love I have become. You want to know how much I'm enjoying this toy line? I've been replaying Street Fighter a ton. I've not played Street Fighter in years, but I've been replaying it because this toy line has made me so excited for Street Fighter again. Also, just to point this out, look at his bands, his wristbands. Glued in place, but different material, different paint, has the great texture, good texture throughout, slight paint wash with hits of yellow so that you can see the crevices. This is good. This is great. I kind of want to look like he's like stepping forward, like he recognizes you. Because when you look that happy, I kind of feel like you're walking in for a hug, you know? Give him a little bit of a slight walking pose, like he just started walking towards you. Really, I need to do it more like this, I think. I wish that he had like an open hand, because I think that would have really kind of made it work, as if he had like one open hand, as if he were coming in for the hug. But this works too. Yeah. He looks the happiest out of everyone here. Good for you, DJ. Go stand over here next to Akuma. Okay. I could give him the thumbs up, but I think that's too much. Thumbs up and also the pointing out. He needs to have at least one hand ready for a fight. It is a Street Fighter after all. I think the next one I'm going to open up is going to be Dalsum. No, I think the next one's going to be... You know what? No, the next one's going to be Dalsum. Because then I can explain to you guys why I have such long-standing beef with Guile. And why I dislike him so much. Because he's the only Street Fighter character I actively dislike. Dalsum, I just don't have much interest. That's the same thing with DJ. Oop. Oh, Harold. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hope that you're able to chat again soon. But, like, I'm just glad to know that you're doing well. And also, congratulations with being wrapped up with finals. Hell yeah. Yeah, I guess it is May. I was about to say, oh man, it's early for finals, but no, we're in the second half of May. This is absolutely when finals would be. But no, congrats, Harold. I'm glad that that finals went well. Yeah, Tended Winter, that's the thing. I don't dislike DJ or Dalsum. I just don't have opinions on them. And Fei Long, I don't dislike the character. I just think he's boring. Guile, I actively dislike. For as much as I love Sagat, I dislike Guile in an equal amount. So I do want to show you guys something. Here's Dalsum. Keep in mind, he's not a deluxe figure. He's one of the $30 figures. Look at how much toy you're getting for $30. Meanwhile, because General Grievous has 2 extra lightsabers, he becomes a $50 deluxe. But Dalsum's going to be one of the tallest toys here, and his legs are as tall as Chun-Li. And he's not even a deluxe figure. The deluxes are only $35. They're only $5 more, but he's not even a deluxe. He's just a normal release. Madness. Insanity. I'm not even joking, right? I have never taken a sponsorship for anything on this channel, except for the one wallet for the swindle video, and then I did something for Blockies. Those are the only 2 sponsorships I've ever taken on the channel. And I've sworn I would never take a direct sponsorship from Hasbro. I would never take a direct sponsorship from Mattel. If someone from Jada reached out to me, and they were just like, oop. So, Scott, I'm going to get back to that in a minute, but, like, if Jada were to ever reach out to me and be like, hey, RonBonDujon, would you, like, give a shout-out or anything like that? Like, hell yes. Hell yes, I would. As long as Jada makes great products and treat their employees well, I am going to, like, become the fucking #1 Jada. If Jada has one fan, it's me. If Jada has no fans, it's because I'm dead. Well, that's the thing is, I've never been reached out to by Yellow Park. If Yellow Park ever did reach out to me, I'd consider the sponsorship. Blockies did it one time, and I took it. I've had Hasbro reach out to me for sponsorships. I've had Amazon reach out. I've had Raid Shadow Legends reach out. I've had Mattel reach out. Countless AI companies. And every single one, I said no. Because I don't agree with their mission. I don't believe with their standards and practices. I don't agree with how they treat people. Even if they would reach out to me sometimes where, don't get me wrong, I could have used the extra money. But I was never going to prostitute the channel like that. But if Jada reached out, I'd be interested. But that's only for as long as Jada makes good stuff and treats people right. Because as much as I'm on this train right now, as much as I'm on the Jada train right now, I would love to be for many years. If there's ever a story like Jada just laid off 1,000 people right before Christmas, even though their product is still selling and they have great profits, I'm dropping Jada. So, if anyone from Jada is listening, this loser on the internet, if anyone there out there is listening to RonBonDujon, that fat piece of shit, just know that just know that I don't even know where I'm going with this. But yeah, I've seen some people ask like Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends has reached out to me 3 times. Each time I said no. Because I don't like that game, and I think it's kind of predatory. Roblox reached out to me one time. Said no to that. Dalsum is so cool, man. Like, first of all, his proportions are amazing. Because he's very lean, right? But he's muscular and defined. And they capture that well, because it'd be really easy to make him disjointed, but no, like, that comes down naturally into a little bit of an hourglass. And look at the paint wash in his skin. So nice. Same thing with the costume. You can see there's little highlights of orange and yellow throughout. Real metal. Real metal for his bracelets. And guess what? Same thing on his stretchy arms. Real metal. So we have an angry face and a calm face. I'm going to keep his calm face. And then we have grabby hands or choppy hands. I'm going to keep choppy hands. Can the fists come off here? Nah, those are sculpted in. Okay, that would have been nice if you could switch out these hands, but I get it. Rebel Warrior, I agree. If Jada got Mortal Kombat, I would lose my shit. Chaotix, that'd be really cool. Hey, Dolls Gunpla. Alright, we're switching out Dolls and we're going to make him a tall boy. So you remember Marvel Legends Reed Richard? He only comes with arms that are slightly longer than usual. Well, here's Dalsum. Can he stand on these? He can kind of stand on them. He's having a hard time, admittedly. I feel like I could get him to balance. Admittedly, I think you're only supposed to do one at a time. I've never seen Dalsum stretch both at the same time. But even still, look at how long he becomes. So much toy for $30. Same price as a Marvel Legend. Same price as a Star Wars Black Series. And yet, we're getting a Dalsum that has enough plastic for like an entire wave of Marvel Legends because they're dense. That's the thing, right? Even if they're the same size as Marvel Legends, they're dense. They're nice and weighty toys. They feel like Toy Biz Marvel Legends. So with the Marvel Legends, I always have such a hard time getting them in a sitting pose because their hips are always such dog shit. But look at Dalsum. Like everyone in Jada, perfect stretch, so easy, because they have a ball on peg system. And because of how easy it is, that means that I'm going to be able to get Dalsum to sit crisscross applesauce, and it's going to look really nice. Oh, by the way, put those grippers away, Dalsum. I'm telling you, if you're in defeat, just another reason to love this storyline. I didn't even realize that. You're right. DJ does have his dogs out. Who doesn't have their dogs out in this line? Cammy, Fei Long, Bison, Chun-Li, Vega, Balrog, and probably Guile. Those are the only ones. Over half this toy line have the dogs out. I mean, Akuma is cheating because he's wearing flip-flops, but dogs are still out. Gotta hurt the Albertosaurus. Jean-Claude Van Damme wishes he could do a spread as good as any of these Jada figures. He wishes he could spread like E Honda can spread. There we go. I'm going to keep working on that because I want the sitting pose to look a little bit more natural. Tinted Winter, that's cool. I didn't see that. They're finally doing Dragon Ball Z style trunks? Hell yeah. Chaotix, mark my words, when 86 is done, every line's getting less budget. And there's going to be another round of layoffs. There we go. I'm okay with that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm okay with that. That looks decent. Decent sitting pose for Dalsum. Maybe I should give him a stretchy pose. Because I was thinking, like, oh man, I want Dalsum to kind of like be chilling. But now I kind of feel like, nah, he should be going as ham as everyone else. Mon makes, I don't think I saw it because I was too busy messing with my Dalsum. Oop. Oh, I don't even think I pointed this out. By the way, look at Dalsum's ear. Look at that. Actual piece of metal. Both sides. And look, they're free flowing. You can move them. Not sculpted in. Oh no. Oh, there we go. So, there is a problem with giving Dalsum jewelry. If you take out the hand too fast, you might lose a ring. So just keep an eye out. Especially on carpet, it can be kind of hard to find it if it drops. There we go. Dells, you know. Dells, I can't imagine how nightmarish it must be to like lose a very important tiny piece into the carpet. Because if I lose an action figure's hand or gun, whatever, I still have the action figure, right? You might have just lost their hip. Chaotix is asking what my favorite iteration of the Orion and D16 origin story is. So for both of them, like if we're seeing the origin of both, I think TF1 did it the best, which is also the Transformers Prime origin story. I like that one. But my favorite Optimus origin story will always be G1 Cartoon, entirely because he was just a guy. He was just Orion Pax, the dock worker, blue collar, nothing special. He's my favorite. The G1 cartoon origin story for Optimus, going from just a normal Joe to being Optimus Prime, is always going to be the best one. In G1 cartoon, Megatron doesn't have an origin story. He's just built like that. IDW's origin story for Megs is pretty good. Prime. Yeah, I'm going to say TF1/Prime is the best origin story for Megatron. And then G1 is the best origin story for Optimus Prime. And also, I really like the origin story in Animated, where Megatron was the student of Zarak and replaced him. Oh, Scott, you asked me about this. Yeah. Do I think that the Sentinel Prime accessory kit is going to include the Apex armor? Probably not. Probably not. I think that Hasbro is going to just price gouge. I don't think there's a secret figure in there. I don't think there's a secret Apex armor. I think it's just Hasbro marketing and Chris Cox being iffy. Oh, hey, Jada, thank you. No, I'm glad you like my stuff. And someone asked me, Zarak was an animated. Yes, if you read the Allspark Almanac, it goes into like the secret history of Megatron. And it's revealed that the founder of the Decepticon cause in animated was Mega Zarak. And Megatron replaced him. Like, Megatron was the Starscream to Zarak. Which is why, like, to me, that's always explained why animated Megatron is such a gifted schemer. It's because, unlike almost every other Megatron, he had to backstab his way to the top. So he has all the power of Megatron, but he's also had to develop that ability to manipulate. And that's why he kills Starscream the second he finds out Starscream betrayed him. Because he knows just how hungry you get as a second in command. I've always loved it. I think that's a great twist on the Megatron Starscream dynamic, is having Megatron essentially look at Starscream and be like, I know where this is going because I've walked that path. And it helps that like animated Megatron is like the best Megatron. Animated Megatron's such a good Megatron. And Corey Burton is such a good voice. I think I've seen someone put it that animated Megatron is the best Megatron if you consider the Transformers to be superheroes. And Prime Megatron is the best Megatron if you think Transformers is a space opera. And I kind of agree with that. Because Prime Megatron definitely has more bombast, but animated Megatron has more misdirection and intrigue to him. I find, anyway. Like, Prime Megatron, it's very clear. He is a very surface level kind of villain. With him, it's a lot more what he does that's making him interesting. Whereas animated Megatron, he is just interesting. So here's Guile. I really dislike Guile. I think Guile is my least favorite Street Fighter character. Easily my least favorite Street Fighter 2 character. Why do I dislike Guile? For one thing, look at that fucking hair. Look at that fucking hair. My big issue with Guile is how much, especially in the 90s, so many adaptations wanted to make Guile the main character. Like, Street Fighter has a story. He does. Street Fighter has a story, and the story is all of these weirdos are all out for their own goals, but our main character, Ryu, he is trying to find his purpose. And he believes his purpose is through the art of fighting. You know, it's his catchphrase: secret lies in the heart of battle, purpose lies in the heart of battle. Ryu believes that if one is able to fight and find their purpose through the fight and have nobility in their heart, that is what will give him peace. Like, truth be told, that's what all of these characters are looking for. They're all looking for their own form of peace. I mean, Ryu is literally looking for peace of mind. Sagat is looking for the exact same thing Ryu is looking for, but unlike Ryu, for Sagat, it's not through fighting, it's through training. Blanka's trying to find his family. M. Bison's trying to take over the world to save it and its resources. Cammy is trying to find a purpose after she finds out she's been brainwashed. Chun-Li is trying to avenge her father. Ken is trying to prove that he isn't just some rich boy and find purpose in his boring life. Dalzum's looking for inner peace. Akuma is trying to find the proof that his bloodthirsty combat is the best way to go about it. And to do that, he kills his brother and is possibly trying to kill his son, because we don't know if they're actually father and son. E. Honda is trying to return glory to the sport of sumo so that he can have peace with his tradition and his legacy. Balrog is trying to find financial security and peace of mind. Vega believes he's beautiful, and thus his combat is a way to help purify the world. All these characters, through their fights, are looking for peace. That's the beauty of Street Fighter, I think. That each of them have this somewhat redeeming quality, that they're trying to find their place in the world. And that's what they're fighting for. Some of them are fighting for the sake of finding that place in the world. Some of them are fighting as a side effect, as a symptom. You know, Chun-Li, the fighting is second to avenging her dad. For Blanka, the fighting is second to finding his mom. For Ryu and Sagat, the fighting is the primary driver. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're finding peace, right? That's the story of Street Fighter. The story of Street Fighter is the story of a young man completely lost in the world, trying to use his passion and his art form to give his life meaning. And in the moment that he's supposed to prove himself, he's fighting Sagat, and Sagat wins. And that's the first moment that Ryu cheats. And when Ryu cheats, he scars Sagat for life. Sagat becomes one of Ryu's main enemies, and Ryu has to live with the knowledge that he did that. He was the monster. Sagat won fair and square, tried to be a good sport, and Ryu scarred him. So now Ryu, his peace takes on a double meaning. It's not just finding purpose, but it's finding purpose while also containing the darkness that the fighting can bring out inside his heart. That's the story of Street Fighter. It's a beautiful story. It's a story that they made comic books with. It's a story that they've made countless games with. It's a story that should be in a movie. But it's not, because Guile. What is Guile's story? He is lightning American, and he fights for America. But because every American ever needs to have an American main character, they do the Street Fighter 2 movie. Who's the main character? Guile. Why is it Guile? I don't know. It's fucking Guile. He's the American. And I'm okay with some of the stuff they do with him later on. Like Street Fighter 6, I think it's cool that he's trying to prove that Ken is innocent. Street Fighter 4, they do some okay things with Guile. But I've always disliked Guile because his design is bad, but most importantly, anytime they do an adaptation of Street Fighter, they give too much attention to Guile. Even in the animated movie, they make Guile like one of the main characters, and I don't think he's supposed to be that. I think even in this new movie, I'm really worried that it looks like Ryu is not the main character. It looks like the main character is going to be Guile and Ken. And Ken should be a main character, absolutely, but not fucking Guile. And it's similar to the issues I have with how people represent Zangief. Because you watch the Street Fighter cartoon, you watch the American movie, You look at a lot of the original dubs of the games, they make Zangief out to be evil. And why is he evil? Because he's a big, scary communist, and we hate communism. But when you actually play the games proper, Zangief is honorable, lovable, incredibly intelligent, well meaning, very well spoken, polite. So, what makes him so evil in the minds of Americans? Oh, it's because he loves his country. But apparently, the only country you're allowed to love is America. And if you love your home, you're a bad guy. Because Zangief. No, exactly, Tinted Winter. They portray Zangief as a villain in Wreck It Ralph. He's in the villain meeting, even though, literally, M. Bison, Vega, Balrog, Sagat, any of them could have been there, but instead it was Zangief. And I saw some people say, like, oh, well, it's actually really clever because Zangief is the one who says just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you have to be a bad guy. But Zangief isn't a bad guy. The only times he's ever been a bad guy is when you let Americans get their fucking hands on him. Because Zangief, his one crime is he loves his home. Now, we're not getting into a conversation as to, like, was the Soviet Union good or bad? Zangief hasn't carried out anything evil. He's not done anything wrong. Zangief is just Zangief. He does things to protect people. And ever since the fall of the Soviet Union in the games, it's not like he's trying to avenge Stalin. No, he's just still trying to help out. He's fighting for the sake of the people back home. He's fighting for the glory of his home country. And he's doing so in legitimate sporting contests. So I think just the idea that Zangief is always presented as an idiot and evil, and E. Honda is always presented as a fat ass. And you have Guile, who's big dick Guile, such a good guy, Guile. Guile is so boring in the games. But I have to pretend he's the ultimate hero because we let Americans write the story. Even though, again, the main character of this series is Ryu, and his story is way more interesting and way more universal than anything you could ever do with Guile. Yeah, Tinted Winter, Ken and Ryu both have a line in Street Fighter. Not Street Fighter. They both have a line in Wreck-It Ralph. I'm not big on Guile's theme song. It's fine. It's not my favorite. It's on my top 5 favorites. Vega's is probably the best. Sagat's is way better. Ken's is really good. Chun-Li's is good. Ryu's is good. To me, Guile and E. Honda, their themes are kind of just there. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Oh, hey, Remington, how's it going? Yeah. We're actually opening up Guile. We're opening up my my most hated Street Fighter 2 character. So you want to know the thing that pisses me off the most about Guile? You want to know what makes me so mad? I'm really going to enjoy this toy, probably. Tinted Winter, Cammy is... You say American Scott? Yes. Yeah. Jada Dan is in Smash. Everyone's in Smash. Just because Guile's in Smash, I have to suddenly be chill with him? You know, Caddix, you're right. Shadow ain't in Smash. No, Jebda, I know that you mean as an assist, but, like, yeah. So I just saw someone say Guile looks like Johnny Bravo. It gets even crazier because Guile comes with a hairbrush, just like Johnny Bravo. Oh, it's going well, Remington. How are you? Yeah. It was okay. Tinted winner, yeah. The Virgin Sonic Boom versus the Chad Tiger. I fucking love Sagat, man. I've been replaying a lot of Street Fighter 4. Sagat, I know he's not like a top tier in that game, but Sagat feels so good to play. And I honestly think I saw a lot of like tier lists that made Sagat out like he was like low tier. I totally think that's wrong. And don't get me wrong, I suck ass at the game, but like Sagat's reach alone makes him really solid in a lot of situations. E Honda versus Big Chungus. Scott Big Chungus cleans up. Oh, hey Dumb Jake, how's it going? Am I going to see the movie? I don't know, because I saw the trailer, and it looks really, really rough. But, you know, if I hear good things about it, I'm not writing it off. Because there's a lot of good movies that had really bad trailers. I loved the most recent Superman movie, and I think it had a pretty rough trailer. But there's something about the costume design that we've seen out of the Street Fighter movies so far, especially Ken. I just think they look really rough. But you know, maybe. If I hear good things about it, I would definitely go check it out as a matinee showing. Because I would like a good Street Fighter movie. I already have one, the animated movie, but I would like a good live action Street Fighter movie. It reminds you of Tokusatsu? I could see that. Here's the thing, if it was a Street Fighter TV show, I think I'd be more into it. I think the second it is a major movie, I'm going to have, like, higher expectations. I don't know. Because, like, the casting that really got my goat, I saw, like, a lot of people making fun of Cody Rhodes as Guile. I think that's going to be fine. My thing is a lot more, 50 Cent as Balrog. I think that's really bad casting. And, like, no offense to 50 Cent, I like his music. I think he has a cool look. But I also think he's way too old to be Balrog. I honestly would have, like, preferred... Who's someone who I think you could get as Balrog? Who's the guy who just played Wonder Man in the Marvel show? He could probably be a good Balrog. So, Scott, no, I would not want Mike Tyson as Balrog. I don't want real world monsters in my movie. Tom Holland is Balrog. Now we're talking. Look at this. Again, real necklace, real beads, and look at that little metal dog tags. Actual metal for the little dog tags. That's class. Like, I hate Guile. Guile's a piece of shit. I hate him. This toy's kind of amazing, though. And look at the texture, the sculpting of the tank top, the wrinkles of it. Colors throughout. Of course, the figure feels amazing. Perfect tampograph of the American flag on both sides. As goofy as the design is, it's captured very, very well. It looks good. Oh, sorry, Dawson. My bad, man. There you go, buddy. I saw someone mention the Street Fighter WWE toys. I'm not big on them. I think that they went with bad picks. So there's a few that I like. Blanca. Batista as Sagat works really well. That's a good one. John Cena as Guile. Again, that works. Ultimate Warrior as Blanca is a fucking crime against humanity. Because Blanca is a well-meaning guy looking for his family, and Ultimate Warrior is a piece of shit who spoke ill of the dead, made fun of Bobby Heenan when he had throat cancer, openly rooted for Bobby Heenan to die. By the way, Bobby Heenan outlived him, and good, because fuck you, Ultimate Warrior. But of course now he's Blanca, and it looks like shit. Hate how it looks. Rey Mysterio is Ryu. I don't like, because there's no similarity between Rey Mysterio and Ryu. Dominic Mysterio as Kim is even worse. Like, I think if you're doing... I'm trying to think, like, who would you do as Ryu and Ken? Truth be told, I think Bret Hart as Ryu and Shawn Michaels as Ken works way better. And by the way, that's one of the most famous rivalries in wrestling history. It mirrors the Ryu-Ken rivalry. The idea that they bring out the best of each other, but also the worst of each other. Rey Mysterio as Vega. I could kind of see it, but honestly, you want to know what I think? I think Rey Mysterio as Blanca. Because Blanca's going crazy, doing fucking acrobatics and jumping all over the place. That's Rey Mysterio. He's the guy who's able to defy gravity. I saw someone ask, why is The Rock M. Bison? It's because in his most recent run, his name was The Final Boss. And that's why he's M. Bison. I can kind of dig it. I think Rock as M. Bison works. Because here's the thing, right? The person who should have been M. Bison was Vince McMahon. But Vince McMahon's also a piece of shit and not getting any new toys. So I'm glad they didn't do the obvious thing, because the obvious thing would have also meant giving more money to someone who doesn't deserve it. Triple H would have also worked as M. Bison, but again, fuck you, Triple H. Rock isn't much better, but you know, The Rock is the final boss. Truth be told, it should have been Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns as M. Bison works so much better. They carry themselves very similar. Because you look at The Rock carries himself like, you know, a mamby-pamby movie star. But then you look at Roman Reigns, he carries himself like a fucking king. Just like M. Bison would. Bianca Belair as Cammy works. They have the similar hair, they have a similar costume, similar moveset. I like that one. Like, that's what makes me so upset with the Street Fighter WWE crossovers, is that some of the picks are really solid. John Cena Guile, that works. Rock M. Bison, iffy, but I can live with it. Bianca Belair as Cammy, that works a ton. And again, the best one, Batista as Blanca. Blanca. Batista as Sagat. That's the best one. Who would Razor Ramon be? Ooh, that's a good question. Because you'd have to do Street Fighter 2. Honestly, I think Razor Ramon is Balrog. Because they both kind of have that thuggish personality. They're both like really big and really wide, but not cartoonishly big and wide. I think Razor Ramon and Balrog have a lot of similarities. I think that works for me. Akuma. Undertaker as Akuma. You see, I was thinking that, but what I would go with instead, I'm thinking now, if we made Bret Hart Ryu, and we made Shawn Michaels Ken, I would actually say that Akuma should be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because he's the rule breaker, and yet we love him for it. And he's the one who, everyone else is here for sportsmanship, he's here to win. I think that works better for me. Stone Cold for president. By the way, he can hold the comb. And I'm absolutely going to have Guile with his comb. Who else? Who else? Who else? Honestly, I think Big E would work for DJ. Because they, again, when I think Big E, I just think like bigger than life, always so happy looking. Who's more lovable, Guile or Johnny Cage? Scott, Johnny Cage. Because Johnny Cage has a good heart, is willing to laugh at himself, and we know that he can be a good dad and a good family man because of Cassie. There's Guile. He's still bossing you around while brushing his hair. Hell yeah. I saw someone ask me something. Scott, I'm not big on all the combat kids. The one with the bow and arrow is kind of rough. Takeda's okay. But Cassie is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. I think Cassie was really cool. And she was great in Mortal Kombat X. And for the 5 minutes she was in Mortal Kombat 11. I hope that Cassie can come back. Cassie was my favorite out of that group. If Ken Shi is allowed to always come back as the representation of the PS2 games, Cassie should always be able to come back for her era in the trilogy. Scott Duncan, I get what you're saying, but then it also feels weird to have Liu Kang do fatalities on Katana. It feels weird to have Raiden do fatalities on Kung Lao. Feels weird to have Noob Saibot do fatalities on Sub-Zero. I think that's just a reality of the game. There we go. So Guile is massive. Guile has dog tags. Guile has a really fun comb accessory, which makes him stand out. Really good hand options. Pretty solid head options. God damn it, he's a really good toy. He's one of the best ones here. Fuck. I'm having to support Guile. Blech. Makes me sick. Shardik, I get what you're saying, but like, with Mortal Kombat, you could always just bullshit it. Oh no, a portal opened and Cassie fell through from the old universe. Or fuck it, maybe Liu Kang, he's God. Liu Kang opens a portal and a couple of the old guys come back. Maybe old Raiden and old Cassie come back. Like, you're never going to convince me that Mortal Kombat can't bullshit a reason for a character to come back. Cassie could come back. Just make it a portal. Boom. Old universe, there were a couple of survivors. It's just like bringing Miles into 616. You can do it. You can do it. No one's stopping you. The only thing stopping you is cowardice. Cowardice. Pull a Sonic Mania. Just, yeah, fuck it. Instead of having Chaos, we're having Su Hao. Su Hao is Chaos now. Chaos is about as beloved as Su Hao, so it works. Shardik, we're all tired of portals, but we gotta make this shit work. Okay, then instead of a portal, new idea. Cassie is Johnny's adopted daughter. but he adopted her when she was a teenager, which is why she's a grown adult now. But boom, she is still the same character she was. She enlisted in the military, and now instead of Sonya being her mom, maybe Sonya is just her mentor. And boom, now we have Cassie. It's not hard to bullshit a reason for a character to come in. You just got to think a little bit as opposed to not at all. And then Cassie can be back and we can all be happy because Cassie was the best part of MKX. I'm not asking you to bring back Ferritor. I'm not asking you to bring back Kotal Khan. I'm not asking you to bring back any of the other assholes. I'm asking you to bring back Cassie. And maybe Aaron Black. Aaron Black can come back too because he was Cowboy. Was there anyone else from those two games who I'd want to come back? I literally don't remember a single one of the original characters from MK11. I'm sure there were some. Yeah, Garrus and Chronica. Do you remember the great character Chronica from Mortal Kombat 11? Do you remember her character arc? You remember how every time you beat the arcade, you got to see her head split in half because glass just flew directly into her fucking head? That was crazy. Who's the elder god that's in that game? The plant elder god, who's like Chronica's daughter. How fucked is that? That we finally get to see an elder god that isn't Shinnok, and it's a character that no one fucking remembers. Was she an elder god, or was Chronica the elder god? No, because I think Chronica was above the elder gods. Mortal Kombat 11 story mode sucked so fucking hard. Mortal Kombat 11's story was so fucking bad. But guys, they brought back Cyrax and Sector. Oh yeah, so we can bring back Cyrax and Sector, but we can't bring back Cassie. Explain that shit to me. Somehow, Shao Kahn has returned. The dead speak, and Shiva is back. Ah, shit, you're right, Devora. Devora should come back. Was there not a single new character in Mortal Kombat 1? I've not played the game, cards on the table. I know that they did a bunch of remixes, Cyrax and Sector were now female presenting people. But was there no one who was new? No, what about the Johnny Cage's stunt double? She was there. What the fuck is a hornbuckle? Scott Duncan, every time we do a live stream, you bring up something called a hornbuckle. What the fuck is a hornbuckle? I'm convinced that's not a real thing. Do you know that you can, looking at your view, watch history? What do you mean? Harold, what do you mean about my view watch history? You're able to see my view watch history? It would be really cool to get a proper Transformer fighting game. I would like that a lot. Hey Ron, I saw your video on G1 Autobot would be a good roommate. My question is, would G1 Quick Mix be a good roommate? So I don't know much about Quick Mix offhand. I'm more familiar with Scoop than Quick Mix, but I think Quick Mix's deal is he's pretty chill, but he's a hard worker, and he's also a cement mixer, so you gotta be careful about that. If he doesn't clean his shoes off before he comes inside, there's gonna be wet cement everywhere. I'm gonna give him a C. He'd probably be a nice guy, but the smell would be pretty bad, and also wet cement on the kitchen floor, that'd be pretty rough. God, imagine wet cement on the carpet. That'd be a nightmare. But I like Guile more if I gave him the grinning head face. Hornbuckle is the guile of the MK universe, green and all. What the? There's no such thing. You can see your viewers' watch history. Harold, I don't. Why would I want to see my viewers' watch history? Like, don't get me wrong, I like you guys, but I don't want to go like Big Brother on you. I'm not. I enjoy it when you watch my stuff and comment on my stuff, but I'm not gonna like go hunting you guys down to see what you're watching. Is that something I can actually do? If that's something I can actually do, that freaks me out. I finally got the red TFP toys of Optimus and Megatron. I kind of wish they made TFP Shockwave toy. That would be cool. Random guy, I always heard that the red Prime Optimus and Megatron were really solid, but I never saw them anywhere. Yeah, Tinted Winter, I also don't want to look at your search history. Just cards on the table. Now, I know that I can see your comment history. But that's only on my channel. Like, if I click on your name, I can see what other videos of mine you commented on. I saw someone ask, which Transformers characters do I think could have been friends with the FNAF animatronics? Right off the top of my head, Shatterglass Heatwave. Because Heatwave can talk to machines, I think he'd be able to talk directly to the children. I think they would be friends. I feel like Beachcomber would be able to reach through to the kids. Rung, I think, would be able to, because he's a therapist, right? Rung could talk to them, help them work through their shit. Rhinox. He would be good. Clockwork Gears. I like Vector. Vector seems cool. Vector also seems like the kind of guy who would use outdated slurs and not realize he was using outdated slurs. And that's weird. I'd bring over like a boyfriend and then I would be hit with some real bad homophobic slurs. But Vector doesn't know because he's old. He doesn't know that those words have taken on new meanings. So I'm going to say Vector is like a solid B. B because he's too old school. There was a fake leak Mortal Kombat 3 for a character named Ketamine. That'd be kind of funny. It's another ninja. It'd be an orange ninja. That's the only one we don't have yet. Look at that guy. You just know that Pete Hegseth thinks he looks like this. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking weirdo. Look at this fucking loser. He's a good toy. It's a really good toy. How would the Beast Wars cast be as roommates? I've been thinking about making that a video. Primal would be really solid. Rhinox would be perfect. Cheetor would constantly be asking to go with you whenever you wanted to go do stuff. Rat Trap would constantly bring prostitutes and like drugs into the apartment. Dinobot would get really political. I don't know why. I just have it. I know in my gut, Dinobot would like have Fox News on all the time. Tigatron wouldn't live inside. He would not live in a place like this. Air would be the best probably because she's chill. She would just be like awkward trying to like be chummy, but every so often it just comes off as a little bit weird. Depth Charge would fucking suck. Silverbolt would be really obnoxious, but he would probably do the dishes. And Tigerhawk would be a corpse. I did not know that, Harold. That's really odd to me, and I'm probably never gonna do that. Taz, that's super fair because fighting games are a hard genre to get into, and the community can be really fucking difficult. Like, I think there's a ton of really cool people in the fighting game community. Maximilian Dude is someone who I always look to as like a source of inspiration. I think he's really chill and has a great head on his shoulders when it comes to fighting games. But if you just go to like a local tournament, you're going to be dealing with a whole lot of sweaty assholes who take this shit way too seriously. What I always say, Taz, is if you have Dark Side Phil, exactly. There's a whole lot of Dark Side Phils in the world. The only thing that makes Dark Side Phil special is he somehow built a YouTube audience. If you want to get into fighting games, Taz, the best thing you could possibly do is just play with your friends. Find a game that everyone might be into and just give it a go. Street Fighter is a really fun game, but it takes a long while to kind of get your head around some of the mechanics. And there's some, like Street Fighter 4, you just straight up can't play that game unless you have a proper fight stick setup. Like, a controller is not the way to go with Street Fighter 4. So for someone who's new to fighting games, I'd honestly say try things like Mortal Kombat out, because Mortal Kombat tends to be a lot easier to learn. The gore can be off-putting. So if you don't like the gore, I'd say Injustice. Injustice is just as easy to pick up, but it's a little bit more kind of clean. Find out what people are into and see if you can find a fighting game that is connected to that. So if your friends are really into Marvel, try playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with them, because that's a game that's decently easy to pick up and play. If you're really into Dragon Ball, try Dragon Ball FighterZ. I think Street Fighter is great, but you kind of have to know what you're doing with fighting games before you can really get deep in with Street Fighter. I've been playing fighting games my entire life, and I still suck ass at Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter. I have a lot of fun playing Street Fighter, but I have to be okay with knowing that I'm probably going to lose every time I play Street Fighter. Another good fighting game that just everyone can play is Smash. Like, Smash Ultimate is, the most user-friendly, approachable fighting game in the world. It's a very different fighting game. If you're trying to learn how to play like fighting games as a genre, Smash is a very different kind of game. But it's good. Brushed Ranger, thank you. You just reminded me of Pokken. Pokken's another great way to go. And if you like Pokken, you can then go into Tekken, because it's the same game. Now, granted, that's a 3D fighter, but it's fun. It's still really fun. By the way, hey, Brushed Ranger, how's it going? I don't know. I'm always trying to convince people to give fighting games a chance, but don't go to an arcade. Don't go into a tournament if you don't know the scene. Because fighting games are the type of thing where if you make a mistake, you're immediately going to have 20 people behind you chanting, "You got fucked. Got fucked." Like, you get that type of thing. And I don't think it comes out of any place of malice. It comes from the fact that the fighting game community, at its core, is still the same, 20 fucking weirdos who used to hang out at a fucking arcade in the 90s. And it's gotten bigger, but that's still kind of the core of fighting games. When you grow, accustomed to it, it can become more manageable. And I do think that people are getting more, chill. But when I was, coming up, fighting games were still so fucking hard to get into. I've only been to 2 tournaments ever. I was in a Smash Bros. Tournament. Lot of uses of the F slur. A lot of uses for the F slur. Probably did not help that. So this was for Smash Brothers 4. I didn't have a Wii U. I played it on the DS. So when I went to the tournament, I played it on my DS. I played Bowser on my DS, and I actually made it somewhat far. I made it into top 16 before I got knocked out of the tournament. But a lot of uses of the F slur all throughout that tournament. And everyone smelled like an unwashed asshole. It was bad. It was like fucking grilled onions wrapped up in a fucking leathery burnt bacon and then a baby shat on it. And that's if you were in a good spot of the room. When you were in the thick of it, Holy shit, you could taste it. It tasted spicy, that horrible stench. I have war flashbacks to it. People talk about the mustard gas, they don't fucking know. They don't fucking know. Clockwork Gears. I'm not actually going to complete Age of the Primus Bruticus. I'm selling Vortex, the Blast Off, and the Brawl I got. It looks cool. I just don't really need a Bruticus in my life at this point. When it comes to Transformers, I think from now on, all I'm collecting is going to be vintage Armada and then Beast Wars stuff. Because that's kind of what I really care about. And then if there's something that comes out that I just think is really cool, I'll pick it up. But I don't think Bruticus is that way. Harold, I'm actually not super familiar with Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry, rather. I've never played Devil May Cry. It's weird because I've played Transformers Devastation and I've played Bayonetta, but I've never played Devil May Cry. Oh, hell yeah, Jake the Train Guy. Which Astro Train did you get? Was it SS-86? Also, I need to find a new spot for Guile. As always, Guile fucking stealing the spotlight from Ryu and Chun-Li. 86. Jake, what do you think of 86 Astro Train? Because I know Astro Train's your boy. I just wanted to know, like, what your take on him was. That's decent. That's good. Yeah, no, he looks cool. If I wasn't downsizing my collection, I'd be interested in getting that Astro Train. Matt, that's what I've been telling people, is 86 Astro Train feels a lot more like the G1 toy than any other Astro Train we've ever gotten. I think that's its strength as a figure. Damn. At the very least, Energon Landquake is still a fun toy. Duck Boy, I've given a lot of them away, but I'm still keeping my Constructicons and a few of the other blockies I really like. We'll do an Artist Alley Astro Train at some point. So, for this year, it's all going to be Beast Wars characters. But after that, next year is going to be, hey Matt Prime, how's it going? Next year is going to be a lot of Armada and 07 characters. Because next year is going to be the 25th anniversary of Transformers Armada and the 20th anniversary of the 07 movie. Well, Rust Ranger, probably not next year, because Cosmos unfortunately wasn't in the movies or in Armada, but we'll get to an Artist Alley of Cosmos at some point. Jake the Train Guy, I already have a blocky scrapper. He's one of the few blockies I didn't get rid of. I wasn't getting rid of my Constructicons. No way. I am selling a New Age scrapper, but that's because I thought he could go with the Aldi guys. He could not. He was too small. That was sad. Matt, you're right, that's the 25th anniversary of the Unicron trilogy, but I would rather celebrate Cybertron and Energon as their own things. Because it's so often Energon gets lost in the mix of just being Unicron trilogy. Because almost every time we celebrate Unicron trilogy, that really just means Armada and Cybertron, and nothing from Energon. Also, can we just talk about how fucking good this figure lineup looks? Like, as soon as Zangief and T-Hawk come out, this is going to be one of the best looking toy lines in years. That'd be cool. New Dispensor. I like that. We probably need to rank these guys, because now I have all of them. Oh, Shardik, once the year is done... Oh, here, I'm going to go back to see what Shardik said. Shardik, once the year is done, would love to see you do a retrospective with Beast Wars Anniversary. Hasbro definitely isn't doing much, but the affiliate companies have been doing some good work. I actually really agree with you, Shardik. That'd be fun. Maybe like in December, do a video like that. Because I know in July, I want to do a video that's literally just what I would do for the anniversary. So I feel like doing that halfway through the year and then doing like a what the anniversary did right at the end of the year would be pretty solid. I like that idea, Shardik. That's a good one. So Jake the Train Guy, I would fucking love a King K. Rool. I guess that would have to come from Jax. I'd be fine with a Jax King K. Rool. I don't need it to be super articulated. I just want it to be a good toy of King K. Rool. That's all I need. Because Jax has given us Donkey Kong, Diddy. I'm pretty sure they gave us a Dixie and a Cranky, but they still haven't given us a King K. Rool. Ron, have you thought about doing a video on super/brute modes? I don't know what that is. When you say super modes, do you mean like Armada Optimus super mode? Matt, I'm convinced they're going to do a Star Fox movie. They're probably just waiting on that. Well, you want to know what I think it is? I don't think that they were going to reveal Fox McCloud was in that movie. I think he was supposed to be a surprise inclusion. So they probably told Jax not to make a toy of him until way later. But the problem is the pre-sales of the movie went so badly. They tried to juice the numbers by revealing Star Fox. But I honest to God think just with how they introduced Star Fox in that movie, that the original plan was to never say that Star Fox was in it. I think that was supposed to be a surprise. So, Jake, I don't want to spoil upcoming artist alleys, but then again, I guess there's only a few people here, so it'd be fine. Black Arachnia is this one, obviously. Next month is going to be Tigatron. Month after that, I'm pretty sure, is Rat Trap. Month after that should be Tarantulas. After that should be Optimus Primal, I think. And then December's character is actually going to be 07 Bumblebee. So that 07 Bumblebee could be the first artist alley of 2027, and that helps usher in 20th anniversary of the movie. Because I'm not going to do as many things for Armada or the movie, but I still want to like have the artist alleys and stuff like that be dedicated to Armada and the 07 movie. So like 07 Bumblebee is going to be January. December next year would be Hotshot. It just kind of goes back and forth between Armada and 07 character. Maybe do like Armada Megatron, but 07 Optimus. Spider Dad, Wreck-Gar will never have an artist alley or a mini toys of because I don't appreciate how he treats you, and I'm not condoning that. I've seen that, Matt. I would go for that new Metal Sonic. It looks really good. It looks really nice. Oh yeah, Javda, we're definitely gonna get to Prime and anime characters. I think for right now, Artist Alley especially works if it's like an anniversary because then that's also celebrating like specific landmarks. In my stupid head, that works. And to be sure, my head is stupid. Oh, thank you, Master Ninja Ryukin. I'm really proud of this. Have you seen Donkey Kong Country Abridged Episode 2 released after 5 years? Jay the Train Guy, I didn't know there was a Donkey Kong Country Abridged. Oh, shit. That'd be kind of cool. I'm just trying to think, like, how would I rank these figures? Because I do want to rank them. I think that'd be fun. Let me think. I think the bottom of the stack goes to Fei Long. He is still an incredible figure, still better than any Marvel figure, any McFarlane figure. Fei Long is a boring design, but he has a great figure. After Fei Long, I'd go Cammy. After Cammy, I'd probably go Blanca because he doesn't have the toe joint. After toe joint, I would go E Honda. After E Honda, I'd go DJ. From DJ, I would probably go with Guile. From Guile to Ken. From Ken to Ryu. Actually, switch that. Ryu and then Ken over Ryu. From Ken, I'd go to Dalsum. From Dalsum, I'd go to M. Bison. From M. Bison, I would go to Vega. And then Balrog, Akuma, Sagat. I still think Sagat's the best one here. I think Akuma is the second best, and I think that Balrog is the bronze medalist. I think Vega gets on the Mount Rushmore. But that's the thing, right? Any of these would absolutely be action figure of the year. They feel better, look better, play better, are better than anything from Hasbro, McFarlane, Jakks, anyone. And no offense to Jakks, because I think Jakks gives you amazing toys for $10, but they're also simple. These guys are full-featured action figures with better articulation than a Marvel Legends or a Star Wars Black Series or a McFarlane DC figure, and they are the same price, if not cheaper, with better paint and better sculpted detail. They are absolutely what toys should be in 2026. I will sing the praises of this line every day. I think that they are some of the best toys I've ever messed with. And I want everyone to keep this in mind, right? This is a nano metafig. This is a Jada toy. This is what Jada was doing for like the past several years, like past 10 years. 2 years ago, when you thought Jada, you thought this. And now you think this. And from what I understand, they treat their employees well. They make an amazing product, make the best figures around. These guys are incredible. I legitimately think that they are the best toys on the market that you can possibly get. No one comes close. No one comes close. If I had any complaint about these figures, it's that I can't hunt any more down for a little bit. I have to wait now for T-Hawk and Zangief, and then I have to wait for the Alpha guys. But as soon as they land, I'm going to go after them, because I don't want this collection to end. This toy collection was so good. Again, the mark of a great toy line, even characters I don't care about, their figures are so good, I'm happy to have them. If I bought a Marvel Legends or a McFarlane DC figure or a Star Wars figure, so often it's a terrible toy, but I got it because the character is important to me. These toys are so good that even characters that aren't important to me can be incredible. It doesn't require me to already be bought into the collection. It doesn't require me to have a vested interest. It just asked me have an open mind and try a toy. And I did that, and I'm so happy I did. Jada has made an absolutely spectacular line. One of the best. I'm probably going to do a Many Toys of Street Fighter at some point. I absolutely want to make a Many Toys of Street Fighter because of this line. When Zangief and T-Hawk come out, I'm going to make a video just talking about this series. Because I think more people need to know about it, more people need to celebrate it. I'm in a world where I get less and less excited and less things seem good. This line is restoring my interest in collecting and in toys. Because I'm done with a lot of collecting. I'm actively trying to get rid of a lot of the toys I have collected because they don't bring me joy anymore, and yet here I am buying toys of fucking Guile. And they're the best. So Master T-Hawk isn't out yet. He's going to come out later this year. Same with Zangief. But as soon as T-Hawk and Zangief come out, they're absolutely, I'm going to buy them. And they're going to be added to the collection. And those are going to be other live streams. As soon as I get these guys, I'm going to do a live stream. That's what I did here. I got the remaining 4 yesterday. And we immediately did the live stream. Tomorrow, I'm going to post a video that is not a happy video. It is very much a rant. Because I'm so tired of how Hasbro treats its employees and how people just seem to be okay with it. I get so tired of seeing amazing toy designers get death threats, get insulted, get doxxed, all while the billionaires who haven't worked a day in their life get to make the decisions and no one ever talks about them. Sentinel Prime looks like a real shitty price, and I've seen people immediately go and target Evan and anyone attached to the Transformers toy designer team, and that is such bullshit. They don't make those decisions. We don't have any of that anger for Hasbro. We direct all that anger to the people in the trenches. And whenever there's a mass layoff, every time I try to talk about, like, oh, this is real shitty that Hasbro laid off so many people, all I see are people who are like, oh, well, at least the Transformer toys are still pretty good. You need to be on the positive side. And eventually you hear that so many times, you start to think maybe they're right. Maybe shit's so bad. We just need to accept that it's raining when they're pissing on our heads. When they shit in our mouths and tell us that's chocolate, we just need to chew. Because that's the mentality everyone else seems to have. And that's the mentality I let myself start to have. And I was fucking miserable. And I know this is so dumb. But collecting was my main hobby, and collecting wasn't fun. So what does that mean? It means my main hobby is gone. And I wasn't having that fun anymore. I wasn't having that escape anymore. It was always the same thing. Go on eBay. Go on the Big Bad Toy Store. Pre-order. It gets here. Quality control. The price is too high. The plastic doesn't feel good. But you fall into that cycle. And then you go and you do the news videos and you say, well, this toy's probably going to be okay. And then you see people who must love this shit. Because Mark and Evan must love this shit. They must love this shit. Because if I had to deal with the type of abuse that Mark and Evan get on a daily basis, I wouldn't stick around. And yet they're there and they're in these public-facing roles, and they so clearly fucking love Transformers and just want to do right by this thing they love. And when people get mad, they get mad at Mark and Evan. Instead of getting mad at fucking Chris Cox, instead of getting mad at the billionaires and the CEOs, they get mad at the artists, the sculptors, the painters, the people who are trying. And you see that enough, and as a toy YouTube channel, you just start to think, well, maybe that shit just can't change. Maybe this is just the way it is now. And I used to think, well, I can at least keep my little island positive. But why are we letting ourselves stay in that cycle? Like, I'm playing with these toys right now. These figures are incredible. These toys are so, so, so wonderful. And they are beautifully painted, beautifully sculpted, so much fun to play with and pose. To the point that I have literally spent hours just playing on my shelf and posing them. And I'm not going to be a fucking retro blasting. I'm not going to be ashamed to use the word playing, because that's what I am. I am playing with them and getting them in that perfect pose. Because that's the fun. That's the fun. And I've not had that fun in fucking years. For years, I would just plop them on the shelf, fucking nuts to butts. All right, they're there. Checklist, 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 checklist. Got my 42nd RC, got my 52 Ahsoka, got my fucking 73rd Captain Rex. Buy product, consume product, like product, buy new product. That was the cycle. These toys are independently amazing. My biggest regret is that I was not collecting and opening them as they came out. But that means I got to play with them all right here and see it for myself just how amazing it could be. You go back to that first stream last week, and I said, well, I'm not going to get any more of these because they're good, they're great, but I don't need many more. And then I had half the toy line the next video. It's like, oh, I'm still not going to get Fei Long or, Dalsum or DJ. I don't need them. And yet here I am eating my own words because I want to support this line. And I want to support this. I don't know the inner workings of Jada. I'm not a fly on the wall, but I have a few people who know a few people. And from all of them, what I hear is, yeah, by the toy industry standards, Jada's actually pretty solid. The top brass are in support of their toy designers, and they listen to their toy designers' input. You want to know why this line is so good? It's apparently because the head lead, the head designer of the Street Fighter line, just loved Street Fighter. This was the toy line they always wanted, and this was the toy line that they wanted to show could happen. I just knocked everything down, but my point still stands. This line exists as a way to show what toys could and should be. And there wasn't a single point where a fucking penny pincher or a bean counter or someone in marketing showed up and said, oh, well, what if we did this? What if we did that? Get rid of that paint app. They supported their toy designers. And Jada, who used to be a gimmick company, no one would have ever said Jada's my favorite toy company before. Because again, 2 years ago, this was Jada. This was Jada. And now Jada is this. And I know my toys keep falling down, and of course it's happening when I'm trying to make my point. But that doesn't change the fact that Jada took Street Fighter, who hasn't had a consistent toy line in years, not at mass retail anyway, and now this is one of the most sought after toy lines out there. It is an unmitigated success, a massive hit. So much so that now people are buying Jada cereal mascots, Jada Frosty. They're doing these other lines. This is just perfect and beautiful. So I'm making a video tomorrow, and it's going to very much be a rant, but the core of it, the heart of it is, why do we keep accepting Hasbro treating artists like shit? Why do we keep buying inferior products with worse budgets and worse QC and worse paint? Why do we keep doing that? There are times where I actually just sit down and think about the fact that I, in my own way, have condoned a company hurting so many people. There were thousands of layoffs just a few years ago at Hasbro, and we moved past it. Oh, at least the G.I. Joe toys are still good. Star Wars toys are still good. Why? Why are we not moving away from toy lines if the people behind the toy lines are being treated like fucking garbage? Sure, these Jada toys are great. I love them. They've rekindled my love of Street Fighter. But you want to know the best thing about them? Just knowing the fact that there was an entire team who wanted to make the best toys possible, and they were given the revenue, they were given the money to do so, and not once did a fucking little dweeb come in and say, actually, our quarter's looking kind of rough. Let's take away this, this, and this. Artists were allowed to make their art, and it shows. That's the beauty of this toy line. I'm going to continue supporting Jada until there is a day where Jada makes it to where I can no longer support them. I will support them. I don't care if they stop doing Street Fighter. I'll buy Scooby-Doo toys. I don't care, because I think they are a toy company that is doing right by their employees and doing right by their customers. And I don't believe another toy line is doing that today. Not in the States. Everyone else, I think, at the very least, mistreats their staff. And then if you're Hasbro or Mattel, you're also treating your customers like they're fucking pigs. And I'm real done wallowing in the shit. I'm real done eating out of the fucking trough and acting like I'm eating strawberries. This is eating strawberries. These are spectacular figures, amazing figures, beautiful figures, made with passion and love, made with artistry, made with sculptors and painters, Renaissance artists. That's what toy designers are. That's what toy designers should be regarded as, is they are artists. And Jada remembers that. Hasbro doesn't. Mattel doesn't. Mattel and Hasbro, you can work there for 20 years, and the second you need them, but they don't need you, they kick you in the ass and they tell you not to come back. They spit on you on your way out. When I made my news video the week John Warden got fired, and I made a link to his GoFundMe, I still remember getting an email from someone who said that they're glad John Warden was shit-canned because John Warden, they didn't like the way that G.I. Joe Classified had done Snake Eyes. And that fucking sums everything up, doesn't it? The only reason the toy industry is allowed to act this way and treat their employees like this is because we let them. Because we buy their shit. Everyone's always complaining, oh, Transformers, the plastic is worse, the paint is worse. Well, maybe we shouldn't buy everything. And I'm not telling you, oh, you have to do a boycott. If they make a character you like, get the character. But if there's a toy that you know you're not going to like, why are you getting it? All these people who hate SS-86 Astrotrain, and then they're still like, well, I mean, I'm still going to buy it. Why? Who's making you buy a toy you dislike? That's the separation. Hasbro is expecting you to do what they want you to. They have you hostage. They got the gun against the back of your fucking head. But that gun has taken the form of this collection that has a few empty slots. And because we're creatures of habit, we're fans, we get obsessive about these details, they know you're going to spend your money on a toy with worse plastic and worse paint if it means you complete your team. And at the same time, they're going to treat their artists and treat their sculptors like shit. And they're going to make their employees have to listen to a fucking AI-generated voice of Peppa Pig or Megatron as they're fucking playing Seether because they thought Megatron's AI consciousness would like some shitty Seether music. And you can have fucking Chris Cox on a fucking interview with his little fucking dipshit smile, acting as though this is some fucking amazing shit that they're doing. Treating the artists like they're assets, banking the fucking AI, moving your company so that you can be closer to your fucking golf buddies. I don't want to support Hasbro anymore. I'm always going to make the many toys of, because I believe people need to have their access to knowing like what toys came out when and what they were like. But more than that, the reason I make the many toys of is because I know the audience I have built. This is about to get really... Okay. We're going to go to a dark place real quick. I've gotten not interviews, I've gotten emails from people who have outright told me, yeah, I've had really bad episodes and your videos were the only consistent thing I had. If you've ever been curious why Many Toys Of comes out Fridays at 4 p.m., that's why. It's because that was consistent. If you've ever been curious why I would freak out if a video seemed like it wasn't going to be out in time, that's why. It's because I understand there's someone out there where my video, in some small way, has become a form of consistency. And consistency is the only thing keeping people from becoming desperate or real overzealous in taking certain actions. I've literally gotten emails from people who have said that that they were going to potentially become a danger to themselves, and the reason they didn't was because they found my videos. That's why I still do the Transformers stuff. I enjoy it, sure, but more than that, I have realized that as a YouTuber, I have taken on a responsibility. That's the reason why I don't take ad sponsors usually. That's the reason why I try to be very upfront with my opinion, but also not crass or dismissive. It's because I recognize that we have formed a community here. And it's been my greatest honor to have that community and be the caretaker of that community. And this is real dramatic and masturbatory. I'm sorry. I'm becoming very pretentious here. Um, but if I didn't have you guys, I would probably still have a YouTube channel, but I wouldn't be doing Transformers. I would probably have moved on to something else because I don't get that same personal enjoyment out of modern Transformers stuff. There's stuff I still really enjoy, but that stuff is mostly in the rear view, and we're getting further and further away from it. And I can appreciate new stuff, but it's not necessarily for me. I really appreciate what Cyberworld is doing, and I am so tickled that so many young kids love Cyberworld, that Cyberworld toys are constantly in shopping carts when I go to the checkout line. That makes my day. But Cyberworld's not for me. There is a part of me that wants to expand the channel. Again, I want to do Street Fighter stuff now. I would like to do Sonic stuff. I would like to do Star Wars stuff, maybe. Just increase what I talk about. But Transformers is always going to be at the core because it is the consistent thing. It's more important to me that I be consistent for the people who need consistency than sporadic for the sake of my own enjoyment. Because I still take a great deal of enjoyment in editing stuff. I still find a lot of therapy in editing stuff. These live streams have become great. I want to do live streams more often because I like talking to you guys. Even though eventually it just turns into rants. I'm sorry about that. But if it were a perfect world, I don't think I'd be talking about Transformers much anymore. Entirely because I don't think that the way Hasbro treats its people is right. But that's why I love a company like Jada. Because Jada seems to be treating its people right, and it's made a fucking amazing toy line. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, just the fun I have putting these guys on a shelf. And they look beautiful. They do. They look beautiful. It's great. It's great. Let's try to be a little bit more positive. I saw someone ask me, what do I think about Optimus being the 13th Prime? I'm not a big fan of it. I really dislike that. I think if anyone should be reincarnated, it should be Rodimus as the 13th Prime. But personally, I don't think either one should be the 13th. I like the idea that the 13th is just this person lost to history and we'll never know about them. I think that's more fascinating and more true to life because there are a lot of people who we just don't know anything about. We just know, well, someone had to be in charge of this stuff at some point. Yeah, Jake the Train Guy, let's hear a joke. What joke you got? We're waiting on that joke. Why shouldn't you argue with a T-Rex? I don't know, Jake the Train Guy. Why shouldn't I argue with a T-Rex? because you'll get your ass kicked. I like that. It's pretty good. Good pun. You think the convoys in the JP Beast Wars are some kind of caste system? Alpha, I don't think so. The convoys are a military rank. And we know from Saber that anyone can rise to that rank. In theory, the Autobots are supposed to be a meritocracy, where you become the leader because you are the best at what you do. Star Saber is the best indication of that. Diatlas as well, because Diatlas was supposed to be like a lieutenant under Star Saber before he became Grand Commander. By the time of the Maximals and the Predacons, it could be different, but I'm going to say it's not a caste just because we know that Big Convoy had military experience before being a convoy. So I'm going to say no, I don't think it's a caste system. I do think there's a caste system in Beast Wars, but not necessarily in the Japanese side, and not with the convoys. That's just my personal opinion. But we know there has to be a caste system on American Beast Wars because Maximal Predacon relations. Was like until Sky Gary had to resurrect Optimus to stop Dark Nova. I just don't know. I just don't know what went wrong. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Tinted Winter, I don't know how I feel about that, because I never got the indication that Dinobot would have any relation to Grimlock. Especially because if that was the case, in theory, he wouldn't have been a Predacon then. Because I know you could always convert, but it seems like Dinobot was born a Predacon. So, Alpha Legionnaires. I'm going to do a Pterosaur life story, going over all of his stuff before he died. I also want to do a video that explores if there actually was discrimination against Predacons on Cybertron during the Beast era. Because I think there's enough proof that absolutely the Maximals probably were discriminating against the Predacons to some extent. I also eventually want to do a video that's literally just which G1 characters do we know survived until the Beast era. I think that'd be fun. Other lore videos I want to do. There's a Rogues lore video I want to do, but that's Batman the Brave and the Bold. I want to talk about how I think Batman the Brave and the Bold Requiem for a Scarlet Speedster is the perfect introduction to the Flash, specifically in how it, in 4 minutes, is able to perfectly showcase Captain Cold, Weather Wizard, and Heatwave, and how the Rogues as a villain team work. It's also a great introduction to Wally West, and Jay Garrick, and even Barry Allen. It introduces you to the Flash Museum, it introduces you to the Flash statue, it introduces you to the Cosmic Treadmill, it introduces you to a version of Reverse Flash. It's really good. So, Schluggenoids, that's actually what I'm talking about. Just a lore video talking about how Batman the Brave and the Bold really is just this perfect vertical slice of Silver Age Flash, going into Modern Age Flash even, and why it works. Because it is. If you've never seen that episode, I'm pretty sure it's still on Tubi. It's Batman the Brave and the Bold, Requiem for a Scarlet Speedster. It is one of the best Flash episodes of any cartoon ever, and it's not just good because it gives you Flash, it gives you Jay Garrick, it gives you Kid Flash, it gives you the Rogues. Even there's some villains that only show up for a cameo, but it is able to show Gorilla Grodd and Captain Boomerang. It lets you see the friendship that has always existed between Batman and Flash. Because we always think of Batman and Superman as being buddies. There's been a long standing association between Flash and Batman. Right down to the fact that they were the first two families of the DC universe. There was the Flash family and the Bat family. It helps that Batman stole all of Flash's villains. I say that. I'm pretty sure Trickster is probably a little bit inspired by Joker, but everyone else came before. And then, like, Mr. Freeze came before Captain Cold, Heatwave came before Firefly. I really don't think there is a DC equivalent of Weather Wizard. He's kind of a league of his own. Same with Mirror Master. There's not. I guess, in a way, Clayface is a bit like Mirror Master in the idea that they can kind of just go anywhere, but even then, they are very different characters. Very different ideas. Love Mirror Master, though. Jake the Train Guy, I think if Astro Train... Oh, wow. That was a loud car outside. I think that if Astro Train made it to the Beast era, he wouldn't still be himself. I think they would have, like, essentially retrofitted his corpse into a shuttle. Like, I think it would have been a thing where, like, the Predacons... Like, maybe that's Ravage's ship, is he's just driving around the corpse of Astro Train. That kind of feels like something the Predacons would be into. Because I'm trying to think, there's not many G1 characters we know of that made it to the Beast era. So, Alpha, if I were to do a lore video on RIDO1, it would be explaining the way that in Japan that's a continuation of the Beast era. I'd also want to do a video about Scourge and the Super Commandos, because I think that'd be fun. In terms of the Unicron trilogy, of course, Starscream would be a very fun video. Megatron would be fun to explore. Optimus, probably, trying to find a way to make the backstory from Armada and Cybertron both work. Explain how he had both Scavenger and Landmine as teachers. Alpha, how would I handle the Machine Wars? Well, there's not really any lore about Machine Wars. I would just do a mini toys of for Machine Wars, probably. I kind of like the idea that the Axelon is just a really big Autobot. Changus, I'm fine with parts forming as long as the parts forming is 1, needed, and 2, makes sense. But I do think there's some parts forming where it just feels a little bit lazy. Like Earthrise RC, that just feels lazy to me. So, Unicron Trilogy Optimus I'm fine with because he wasn't always a soldier. He, at one point, like in Armada, it's made clear that there was a life to Optimus before being a soldier. His training under Scavenger was more or less because the war had broken out and he wanted to be able to fight. So he's not quite like IDW Optimus. IDW Optimus became a cop. Armada Optimus was something before. We just don't know what. A lore video on RID 15 Steeljaw would be really fun. I'd be into that. Go into his many ups and downs as a character. Oh yeah. Talk about how he takes over that entire island of Decepticons, and then how that immediately blows up in his face. Yeah. God, I love Steeljaw. Steeljaw's so cool. I wish that Steeljaw had a better go of it in RID. Because I do think he was one of the best characters we got in Transformers in a long time. A long, long time. Oh yeah, in Alpha, yeah, Marvel Optimus G1 Optimus was a gladiator straight into being a soldier. There was no Orion Pax. Orion Pax was very much a creation of the cartoon. Tinted Winter Steeljaw in Last Spot Standing is a ton of fun. Such a good villain. So, the Random Goofy Corpse, admittedly, I don't want to do a lot of lore videos on IDW, not because I dislike IDW, but because everyone who does lore videos does it on IDW. I have a lot more fun doing things like Beast Wars because I feel like less people talk about the lore in Beast Wars. Whereas, like, I'm not insulting them because this is one of my favorite people in the Transformers community. They're someone who's been very kind to me for many years. If I were to do IDW lore videos, that's too much like Delta Trion, and Delta Trion could do it better. So I wouldn't want to step on their toes. And there's a ton of other people who do IDW lore videos. I'm sure they're also very solid, but to me, it's a played out field. There's too many people who do lore videos about G1 and about IDW. Same thing with Skybound. Same thing with Skybound. I think it'd be really fun to do a video about what if the original concept for Beast Wars had happened, where it was Optimus Prime and Megatron from G1, and this was a new generation of Cybertronians, but they were still on Earth with humans, and they're all human-sized. To me, that almost it could almost be like X-Men, where like maybe the government is tracking down Maximals, and maybe like a Maximal could easily take on a human, but 20 humans together with like shock sticks, maybe they could take down a Maximal. That'd be kind of fun to me. The idea that the Maximals kind of have to be on the run. A character like Razor Beast would have been perfect for a show like that. That's another lore video I want to make. I want to talk about original IDW Razor Beast, the one from The Gathering. Whew. We've been going for a bit, guys. Admittedly, the last few streams we've gone for like 4 hours. So, Alpha, I get what you're saying, but the thing you gotta remember about Beast Wars is that they're all smaller, and they're all less powerful with their weaponry. Maybe that could even be a plot point. The fact that Optimus didn't realize just how much weaker they've become through all their transformations. Alpha, I will do a Many Toys of Spike at some point. It's just not been the time yet. It's rough trying to plan out which character to do when, just because, you never want people to have to wait too long, but that you literally just can't do every character that quickly. You kind of have to measure it out as much as you can. I want to show you guys something. So, one of these Street Fighter toys, Dalsum, came from a very cool comic store in Gainesville, Georgia. It's called Wizard Video Games. I always really like that place. They're always very kind to me in there. I can only go in there every so often, maybe once or twice a year, but I always enjoy it. It's a smaller shop, but they're very consistent. But while I was in there this time, they had a toy I couldn't say no to. I got Titanium Optimal Optimus. And this toy is a massive piece of shit. But it's also really, really cool. It's made entirely out of die-cast. The colors look really sharp. When he's just standing there, he looks perfect. The issue is his elbows are super weak. The articulation is not well thought out. He doesn't have a beast mode. He has the car mode and the jet mode, but no gorilla mode. His head sculpt is nice. I think the way you could have done this better is if you had made this Beast Machines Megatron. Because guess what? Don't need a gorilla mode if it's Beast Machines Megatron. Is this the best Optimal Optimus ever? No. But I really am glad to have it. Especially because I got him for $10. That's not bad. Like for an older titanium figure, $10, that ain't bad. Oh, I didn't even notice this. They actually gave me a titanium pamphlet. I fucking love these. Oh, that said, none of these toys are good. I had that Thundercracker. He was really rough. Jetfire is known to snap. Prime is real rough. That's literally the worst Megatron ever, possibly. That said, these little 2-inch guys were always really solid. I really want to get Beast Megatron and Optimus Primal. They would be really nice. I have the Bumblebee and the Alternator's Sideswipe from these 2-inch guys, and they're very cool. But if you're curious, the reason Transformers Titanium even exists, you had Galoob, and Galoob was a really cool toy company for many, many decades, and they were doing titanium Star Wars, and they were doing like little micro rigs and versions of the spaceships. But eventually, they started doing action figures, but they weren't able to move. They were just, statuettes. But Hasbro saw that and they thought, hey, Transformers used to be titanium. Can you do that? And the issue with the idea of Transformers used to be titanium is no, Transformers were never titanium. They were plastic with die-cast pieces. And when you make a toy entirely out of die-cast, it tends to go real fucking bad. That said, they had really good ideas in titanium, and some of their toys are good. Like Best Beast Machines Cheetor, possibly. Really nice RID-01 Optimus. Really nice. Like good toys in titanium. Just not all of them. Some of them were rough, and unfortunately, Optimal Optimus is one of the rough ones. I saw someone ask, do I still hate G.I. Joe? I've never hated G.I. Joe. My issue with G.I. Joe is entirely how G.I. Joe is treated in relation to Transformers. Because every crossover ever makes it out like G.I. Joe is the bigger deal. And it just isn't. It isn't. And I think it's really ridiculous, the idea that Snake Eyes with a normal sword is able to cut off Megatron's arm and shit like that. Hey Ron, do you think Energon Rodimus would get along? I like Energon Rodimus. I think he's a cool character. He's one of the few characters in Energon I really enjoy. So yeah, I would hope we got along. As long as I don't say I like Optimus, I'll probably be fine. As long as he doesn't have to go into like a monologue about why Optimus is too weak to lead the Autobots. I just noticed I don't have Titanium Optimal Optimus's gun. That's probably why I got him so cheap, because he's incomplete. Oh well, I don't need the gun. The gun looks dumb. I've just never really got into G.I. Joe. I think they're fine, and I really like Cobra Commander as a character, but they are very much not my thing. Yeah, as for Energon Ironhide, I see him trying to prove himself to Ron. That's kind of fun. Oh, hey, it's Malvio. How's it going? Do I like Zoids? I really don't have an opinion on Zoids. I've never messed with any of them. Which Beast Wars character would you get along with the most? Ah, shit, I don't know. Probably Rhinox. Rhinox seems real easy to talk to. Following the Armada theme, what do you think is Armada Optimus and Armada Megatron's backstories? So I've always headcanoned that Armada Megatron was not the original Decepticon leader. I always headcanoned that he was actually, like, underneath a character like Zarak, betrayed him, killed him, took over, and had essentially convinced Starscream that he would be next in line and had Starscream actually do the dirty work for him, which would explain why Starscream feels so entitled to leadership, because he's the one who actually got it done for Megatron. As for Optimus, I still like to think that he was a dock worker who was thrust into combat, and wanting to be able to be a good soldier, he got training under Scavenger. Like, I would basically give Armada Megatron Animated Megatron's backstory and give Armada Optimus G1 Optimus' backstory. Clockwork Gear's probably not too happy because Amalgamus Prime seems super chill, and I'm going to assume that he would not enjoy a caste system. At the very least, if Heatwave's any indication, he would not like it. Alright, guys. Oop. So we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours now. I think we're going to call it here. It's always a ton of fun. Like, thank you guys all so much for coming out. It's always so nice to be able to do these live streams. I want to start doing these on a weekly basis. I don't know. Like, I need to find a night, and it's like, boom, this is now live stream night forever. Oop. So my thoughts on Gunpla, they're a ton of fun. I really like messing with Gunpla. Um, but I don't collect them as much as I used to. Just because after I'm done building them, they're not as fun to me anymore. But while I'm building them, they're the best. But guys, thank you all so much for coming out. I'm gonna find a night to say like this is forevermore live stream night, and I want to make it a more consistent thing because it's just nice to talk to you guys and not be in my own head so much. And it's also nice to like just get what your opinions are on stuff and the things I make and anything like that. It's a lot more direct than comments. But thank you all so much for watching. We got some stuff going on this week, and we will see what we get up to next time.